Yeah.
Oh, alumni.
Alums, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so it's cool to have you in school.
Yeah. I'm glad to still be in school too.
Not out there.
Yeah, no, not yet.
So if I got you looking at the corner, needlessly, can I start with you say and spell your first and last name, and you're a student, right?
Right.
Okay.
Current student.
Okay.
Leslie, Leslie, Tom, Tom.
Okay, and if I could just say my name's Leslie Tom, I'm a student at the UC school.
Okay.
Just in one sentence.
My name is Leslie Tom. I'm a student at the UC Berkeley School of Information.
That's it. All right. We're gonna try that one again.
Okay. I'm like, where am I? Where am I?
Questioner to stand over there, Jeff?
Are you okay look at the corner?
It would be easier to have Hillary stand there and have somebody's face as you have. Right, anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
Just always look at Hillary while you're
Okay.
answering. Yeah.
Great.
Even if Maria jumps in or Jocelyn. Are we ready?
We're good.
Okay. So Leslie, tell us about your background and what you studied before and what made you want to come to the iSchool.
Before my background, start again. My background, I come from Tucson, Arizona, and Phoenix, Arizona, and I studied, I have a degree, a professional degree of architecture, bachelor's of architecture from the University of Arizona, and I practiced architecture for 6 years. And what sort of had me come to Berkeley was just sort of seeing that there's a need to share information among my profession, among my peers, and as people are getting older, and this sort of information gap was sort of forming or could be felt, that I thought it was really important to sort of find something that would help capture and gather and integrate this sort of information before it disappeared in the building environment.
So how do you see mixing what you're learning at the iSchool with architecture?
Well, I'm excited sort of for my internship, which sort of is helping to mix the artifacts of our society. I'm working with the collection space, UC Berkeley project, open source project, and we're working with all the different museums to collect their artifacts and help share the artifacts with other museums, with art store, with each other.
Cool. A quick question, then you can look this way. Why is it important to you? Why do you want to gather all this up?
What's that?
You were saying it was important to you, what you were doing.
Why is it important to you?
Why is sharing information important?
Yeah. I mean, it's your passion, yes?
Yes.
What you want to do, right?
Yes.
That's why you're here. So why is it important?
Well, it's sort of cutting edge, like information. There's just so much information these days that to be able to organize your information and sort of design and communicate that information with a bunch of different people is really important to sort of make a difference and with whatever project you're working on.
Is that what Google does? Categorize the world's information? So
no, I don't think we can't compare Google to to what the iSchool is doing, because I think Google is sort of, everyone can search, but what my internship collection spaces is sort of doing is like, how can we use archivists, museums, librarians to sort of understand how you can create an architecture behind the scenes that will support finding information.
Is it an old school? Are you sort of going old school, taking old school and bringing it in the modern world?
Yes, that's why it's really exciting to sort of be here at this school. Is like, this used to be the old library school, the oldest building on campus, and to sort of have the newest curriculum and ideas and classmates from all over the world and from all different backgrounds. It's really exciting to sort of be in this space and interact with everyone.
And what sort of classes are you taking?
Let's see. I'm taking, the information school really allows you to sort of take classes from all around the campus. So I've taken classes in the architecture department, and I'm going to take a class next year in the landscape architecture department. So I guess some of my favorite classes was the patterns and principles of organizing systems, which was a small studio sort of that a couple of my professors, web architecture and information organizer professors, got together and sort of collaborated together on a class that helps really push the idea of what is, how can these old ideas of library science be put into the new ideas of web architecture and technology.
What's it like living in the Bay Area?
Oh, I love being here. Like the weather is great, and I actually live in San Francisco, right in the Embarcadero, which is the first BART stop, the first public transportation stop on the side of San Francisco. And I live in this fabulous high-rise with an 85-year-old woman, and we have this bamboo rooftop garden, and we have so many parties, dinner parties with all my classmates. So it makes it so much fun, and the school here at the information school is just so small that it's so easy to make friends and to sort of make a family, and everyone is constantly sort of in and out of my space, and to explore the city together with other classmates who are also studying information and have a background in technology and trying to really do things differently is it makes it a very fun sort of playground.
That's great, that's great.
What's the internship that you're working on?
So my internship is called Collection Space.
Sorry.
Oh, right, okay.
Thanks.
So my internship is called Collection Space, and it's an open source project at UC Berkeley in the Information Service Design Research Department. And we're working with several museums on campus and throughout the nation, and actually the world, because there's one in Denmark. And we are sharing all the structured information of databases up into a web architecture, RESTful sort of architecture online, so anyone can access it from any sort of multi-channel, like cell phones, mobile devices, tablets, and we're able to share a whole bunch of information to help researchers and to help museums find out who have different objects. And what's really exciting about this project is that anyone can create their own authority control lists and vocabularies, which allows for this sort of like regionalism sort of, so each museum can become experts and create their own vocabulary, and no one is sort of like the control over, you can't call this a certain term, or you can call this a certain term. So to give that power to the museums or to communities is really sort of exciting and sort of cutting edge in terms of like how technology can help these older sort of library and archiving and collecting sort of spaces.
So how does that help an 8-year-old who goes to the library?
So how will this help an 8-year-old? I guess when that 8-year-old decides to go to a school and wants to do research, that they can ask this open source database, like, where are all the Mongolian rugs from the 19th century? And there will be a query that can then say, these are the different museums from around the world that are focusing on this. And I think that's really exciting to sort of be able to get that sort of information at your fingertips and not have to kind of, not have to wade through card catalogs, I guess.
That's great, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the tie-in with architecture, would you say?
Right, I think the tie-in is sort of like this idea that cultures produce artifacts and our heritage sort of needs to be preserved. The stories and the context needs to be preserved. And it's really exciting to sort of be part of that, area, to be creating the technology and helping museums deploy this technology to then provide that 8-year-old the fabric that they would need to be able to create these stories and help tell different stories. There's a lot of classes here at the information school that kind of deal with this sort of concept of like storytelling, of user experience, of like bringing people and society back into technology, and like really being able to give us the tools to be able to create objects that will help us change change the world.
That's fantastic. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Maria?
I have a
Well-
question. Sorry.
No, good.
I think a lot of people are under the impression that with Google you could already find the Moroccan rugs. Like, what are you doing that's different than what a search engine's already doing, but you can look over there when you insert it?
Right. Well, what's different between collection spaces and Google is that you can type in a Moroccan rug or like the Mona Lisa, and there's different types of Mona Lisas. There's like the one that I don't even know, the one that like who knows, someone like a pop artist might rendition, or there might be the one where it was taken at a certain point in time, a picture of the Mona Lisa was taken at a certain point in time, and then 50 years later it was taken at another point in time. And to know these sorts of metadata or data about the different objects is really important, because it starts describing more about our societies than just what Google would be able to provide.
So would you say what you guys are doing is specifically helping a particular audience, like people that are interested in the difference between different artifacts? Not just the average person who might be looking for like the Mona Lisa restaurant on the Louvre. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, collection spaces is definitely a research sort of space, and it's being able to take all the sort of facts of what a different artifact might have, and the people, the culture, the timeline, when it might have been reconstructed, when, like, all these sorts of information about this specific piece of object. Even like the location, like for example, we're helping the herbarium, the plant museum here on campus, and the plants that they collect could be in the state of Arizona or California, but if it's tied to the Colorado River, that runs through both Arizona and California. So it's sort of like understanding how to start naming things so that you can find things is something that Google misses, because all you know is your own vocabulary.
I have one more question. Now that you've been in the high school a year and seen more what it's like, is it what you expected, and collaborating with people and the people you've met and the classes you've taken, or has there been something that's really surprised you and is not what you expected?
So when I first came to Berkeley, I guess I was hoping to be able to help organize information and kind of follow this vein of like information organization. And what I found is like even more than what I could imagine. Like my classmates, we go out for happy hour every Thursday. We go to museums together. We explore the city together. It was funny. I was afraid to apply to graduate school, thinking that like, oh no, I'm going to lose all my old friends, or things are going to change. But it's just become so much richer and so much more that I can't even describe, actually.
That's great. That's great.
One quick question. So what you're studying, obviously, or I'm guessing, wasn't listed in the list of options to study. There's a degree of flexibility in graduate school, right?
What's that?
There's a degree of flexibility in what you're studying, what you're
Oh.
working on.
Yes,
unique.
yes.
In some schools, I mean, I know traditional schools are much more rigid in their curriculums and in their choices, and it seems that you have a degree of flexibility, yes?
Yes.
I mean, that seems to be advantageous to you. I mean, you're going to do what you want to do, and it all falls under the School of Information, right? So talk about the picking process. You came to something that's obviously unique to you and different than wasn't probably in the curriculum, right? So how do you get to that point? You just approach someone? If somebody's out there with a great idea, they want to explore, they can apply here, right? And then explore that idea further.
Right. Well, I think what's interesting is every discipline, every domain is dealing with information in some sort of way. And so to come to study information is just opens up so many doors, because it's so applicable to anything outside once we graduate, I'd imagine.
But for the school, though, but for when you get here, you have that freedom to pick what you want to study, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's unique. I mean, you looked at other schools.
Right.
You came here because you could do that, or?
I came to Berkeley because they're focusing on well, I guess like the other schools I sort of applied to were more traditional library schools, and kind of seeing what they were doing without sort of bad-mouthing them is Berkeley, what it provided was this ability to really look at technology in a new way. And some of the classes that we're taking, like the information organization lab, where we're actually hand coding code and working to scrape other databases or other websites to be able to create new kinds of interfaces to be able to use, is something that I don't think other library schools are focusing on so much. Like, I think what this school provides is like this foundations of understanding how technology, like in a very like under the hood sort of way, how to apply it to anything, and very critically, to critically apply technology in meaningful ways. Like, for example, one of my projects was to take, we called it "The Heat is in the Streets," and we took the Yelp website and scraped their data, or used their API, and were able to figure out where all the karaoke bars, which neighborhoods in San Francisco had the most karaoke bars. So I think just being able to have a lot of fun while learning these skills using technology and organizing information is just, it's sort of like the world is our oyster.
So you get a degree of freedom and flexibility.
Yes. So okay. So I guess coming here to the information school provides much flexibility with where we want to go.
You have the freedom to explore what you want.
For the most part.
Okay. I'm good.
That's
Anyone else?
great.
That was
That's
great.
great. That's great. You know, off camera,
Just let me pull this up in front of your face for 1 second.
I'm just curious
Thank you.
about, because it's new to me, the term library school. I mean, there's a disconnect for me, you know. I'm just thinking about as we promote the program. I mean, do people think library school still?
Well, Berkeley is not accredited, so perhaps this is one of the reasons why I chose to come here too, because it's sort of like Berkeley has some clout in order to say, we're not going to be a library school, but we are still going to have these sorts of library categorizing, classifying sort of principles that still help form the curriculum.
Okay. I mean, do you think people look for library schools still? As opposed to information and technology? I mean, I keep getting more the gist that it's about information and tech, you know, how information affects our lives and tech. You know, I mean, I'm just thinking about people searching and how they refer to it. And
Yeah, there's a whole like ischool.org, which we belong to, which UC Berkeley belongs to. And that's a number of information schools from around the country and world that sort of collaborate together. I was able to go to one of the iSchool conferences in Chicago a couple years ago, and the past one was in Seattle. And I made friends there too, and it's really interesting to sort of meet other iSchool students who are also learning about how to use technology in this very new way. I mean, the world is changing so fast that it's sort of like we're given this vocabulary and this landscape, and then we all can discuss it in some sort of intelligent way, which makes it nice.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So is that a big group? The iSchool group?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't know if I want to be recorded, but yeah. So most if not all of the iSchools have kind of come or still have a library science component have come from. We probably made the most severe break from our library science past by becoming non-ALA accredited.
Right.
So yeah, I would say there's a good dozen iSchools that are part of the caucus